In the last recording, I had talked of the points that the Gachagua team would use before court. You know, if you go to a court of law, you are supposed to give out points in law. If you are accusing somebody for stealing, you say stealing, the authority being penal code section this and that, so on and so on. So that the points that they are using, I've already said, because if they go to court and they have no point, the story will end there. Now today, I want to use the routes. Can I call it routes or options that they are going to use? Remember, the intention is simple. The intention is to prolong this case as far as possible. According to lawyer Dunstan Omari, he says that the intention is to prolong the case for 3 years. That is to make it possible that from today until the next general presidential election, we are not going to have somebody sworn in as the deputy president. That is their system. And they know. If you hear a lawyer of Dunstan Omari's level saying that we are going to prolong it for 3 years, it shows that they know that they'll not win the case. In fact, if you are sure you'll win the case, you usually want it to have 2 points. You want it end very fast. You want it to end very fast, and you would want the other group not to contest the winning. But if you find somebody who wants the case to take long and he wants to exhaust all the options, it shows, or he wants to use all the options even before the case starts. It shows that this is a person who knows that he will lose the case, and so he's using the legal way of delaying. Will they delay up to 3 years? I doubt. To me, if it passes 6 weeks from today, then I doubt whether it will pass 3 months. By 6 weeks, I mean the whole of November and mid-December. That one is also to say that a new deputy president would be sworn in and will participate in the Jamhuri Day celebration. Now, which are these options are they going to use so as to extend it as much as possible? Let us take option A. Option A, you see, as we talk now, on Tuesday, the proper case is supposed to start on Tuesday. And remember, the three judge bench had passed. The three judge bench had said that they cannot recuse themselves. So the three judge bench will sit on Tuesday and start deliberating on the case. When they start deliberating on the case, the Gachagua team will come up with an order from the Appeal Court of Kenya. The first option is that they are going to take the case to the Appeal Court. They are going to appeal the decision by the three judge bench to the Appeals Court of Kenya, where on Tuesday when they're about to start, they'll say, we have orders from the Appeal Courts of Kenya to listen to this case. Now they'll go to the Appeal Court of Kenya, where they'll say that they'll give the same points, that we told these judges to recuse themselves because one justice, when she was doing her master's, she was a student of Kindiki, although of course we know that she was not a student of Kindiki because she took her master's abroad. But anyway, they'll present that. Two, say that another judge Mrima, Justice Mrima, when he was having a wedding, one of the guests and who gave who gave what do you call gifts was the Speaker of the Senate. So he's very close to the Speaker of the Senate and blah blah blah. But and then lastly they'll say that the wife to the presiding judge, the wife was appointed by a minister who is under the president. That is what they are going to say. Now, between me and you, and even they themselves know that the Court of Appeal Court of Kenya, will dismiss that. But let us take ourselves to Tuesday. Tuesday, they say that. Then when they say that on Tuesday, the Court of Appeal will not listen it within 3 hours. No. They'll say, okay, you have received the nini. Can you serve the respondent? So they will be served. The Senate will be served. The National Assembly will be served. All the interested parties will be served. That means the earliest the Court of Appeal can sit is the Tuesday after this Tuesday. I'm recording this on Sunday, so it means 9 days from today. That is when they start sitting. Then they'll sit, let's say 2 days. That is 11th day. After sitting for the 11th day, they will withdraw to make a judgment. So the judgment by the Court of Appeal will come at the earliest 15 days from today. Then when it comes back after 15 days is when, let's say, they say, we don't agree with that. But okay, let us take it both ways. Let us say that they say they agree with the GACHAGUA team that the one or more of the judges is compromised. So they'll make a decision. Then the Chief Justice will again have to make that is what we call option A1. Option A1. They take the case to the Court of Appeal, and as we have calculated, the Court of Appeal will have decided in 15 days from today that the Court of Appeal will have decided that it is true one, two, or even all the 3 judges are compromised. So the Court of Appeal will nullify the bench. And then we wait maybe for a week for the chief. And if the Chief Justice appoints another bench in the same day, they'll complain, why are you in a hurry? It's funny, I've never met people who are in court and who wants the court to be on a go-slow. Now, we say option A1, the judge, the Court of Appeal, and I have to tell you that the Court of Appeals Court have to have 5 people. Because when the sitting was having three judge bench on the Court of Appeal, no, in the High Court, then the Court of Appeal will have a higher number. And it will have a higher number, which must also be an odd number. Why odd? It's because when a judgment is passed, one may, if there are 4, 2 may agree and 2 may disagree. So usually they want an odd number. But even supposing they appoint 5 judges of the Court of Appeal, and then on the judgment day, one of them is so sick that he or she cannot present, there'll be 4. In case there are 4 and they decide equally, 2 agree, 2 disagree, then that means that the judgment that was made at the High Court stands. Okay, we still are in option A1. The Court of Appeal, the five judge bench has agreed. So the Chief Justice will have to appoint another bench of 3 judges. Now, after appointing the 3 judges, there are 3. Maybe it's very, but anyway, on paper it is possible. Maybe they convince the Court of Appeal that 1, 2, or even 3 of the judges are compromised, a new bench can be made composed of either 3. I mean, the Chief Justice would decide whoever she wants to appoint. But if 1 or 2 of the judges were not found compromised, then an additional person can be added there. So we were saying that is 15 days. On the 15th day, the bench is broken. When the bench is broken, the Chief Justice takes 7, let's say 7 days. That is 21. And then when 21, on the 21st day, you see that is almost a month. On the 21st day, a new bench is constituted. When the new bench is constituted, GACHAGUA and his team will go and say that the new bench is compromised. Why? They look for any excuse, including saying that all of them, Kindiki, what do you call, Wetangula, and Kingi, they all have a common ancestor called Adam and Eve. They look for any excuse. But let's say after 21 days, that is 1 month, we start afresh. That is option 1A, in case they'll convince the Court of Appeal. If they don't convince the Court of Appeal on day 15, then on day 18, now this kina Mrima, Ogola, and Mugambi bench will sit. That is day 18. Sitting on day 18, that case, convincing the case on that day, it will take, let's say, a week or even 10 days. Now, that is 28th day. On 28th day is when they'll make a judgment. When they make a judgment, obviously, now this is option 1, A2. A1, it has gone to appeal court. The appeal court has dismantled this bench and the bench goes out. But which they'll start again. And A2 is that they've taken the case to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal has disallowed it. So on 18th day, the bench kina Mrima starts hearing on date 18th. Now on date 18th, day 18th, not date 18th, on day 18th, they start listening and then they make a judgment on 28th. When they make a judgment on 28th, it is obvious Rigathi Gachagua will lose on 28th. And then Rigathi Gachagua's team would go to Court of Appeal, appealing for the judgment. They'll say that the judges were not fair. So the Court of Appeal would decide on that. And then if they lose, because I know they will lose, then they will look at the what do you call? They look at the judgment of Court of Appeal, and according to the 2010 Constitution, is that you can only appeal to the Supreme Court on constitutional matters. You'll only appeal to the Supreme Court on constitutional matters. Now they'll appeal to the Supreme Court for constitutional interpretation. Now, that is when they'll even give evidence from the High Court. They'll say, for example, because they'll pick anything, but I know they'll say that the constitutional rights of the DP were infringed with, because how can you be in the hospital and whatever? You are not given the right of listening. So they would want the Supreme Court to come up with a conclusion that his constitutional rights were interfered with, and he did not, as a result, he did not find fair justice. So if they decide that, they will decide at what level was Gashagua's was Rigazi's constitutional right interfered with at the High Court level or the Court of Appeal. If they decide that it was at the High Court level, then they will order for a retrial within the High Court. But if they found that the High Court was okay and the Court of Appeal was wrong, then they'll be forced to order a retrial at the level of the Court of Appeal. Now, if they do that, then they will start again that Sarakasi. And remember, we had reached date 28. So the Court of Appeal will be somewhere like date 35. So that date 35, we start the case again. We started the case again, depending on where the Supreme Court had decided. Did it decide that unconstitutionality was done at the High Court, or did it determine that the unconstitutionality happened at the Court of Appeal? So kaende hivi. That is what they do, and in that way, you find that that option, the case will be determined around 45 days. The other one I said 38, now it will be determined at 45 days. Now let us take option B. That is, we have exhausted option A. Now let us look at option B. I said that they would go, I said that they would go to the Court of Appeal or even the Supreme Court, and then a new bench is started. A new bench is started, and then when the new bench has started, regardless, people would now start saying that the new judges, the new bench is also compromised. Remember, I said they will even use that. They will also find that even the new bench, those people are somehow connected to Gachagua, Kindiki, or even Wetangula. They'll still look for that, and they'll start it all again. They'll also, they may also find issues with a 5-man bench of the. I don't know whether you are getting me. I'm trying to say that they could even raise an issue by saying that they didn't like the new team, and finding a new bench of 5. If they go for interpretation and say that they don't like the Court of Appeal case where we had 5, where we had 5 Court of Appeal judges. Now you see there'll be a challenge, because if we have to break down the 5 judges, we have to look up for another 5 judges. Now, Court of Appeal is very busy now finding 5 more to make a total of 10 is a problem. So they want to continue this way, and even the second or third Court of Appeal, you see, if they succeed in having 5 new, if they succeed in having 5 new judges in the Court of Appeal, then they will also, it will be a total of 10 judges. Because in the first instance, they had 5 judges. Now they will have other 5. If the second 5 are also rejected, that is 10. It is really hard to find the 15. And that is, it will create a constitutional crisis, because they'll be they have a right of being heard by the Court of Appeal, and yet they have exhausted all Court of Appeal. As I've said, this thing, the shortest, I'm giving it at 6 weeks. To me, I'm giving it at 6 weeks, meaning that by the time we have By the time we have Jamhuri Day, we will have a new deputy president. But if they are lucky enough to go through all these rounds, then they'll be lucky if they'll reach 3 months. But then they have targeted it to 3 years. Now you know. Thank you.